Hello, good evening and welcome to Eye on Port. It is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GOIL Company Limited, West Blue Consulting, GCNet, as well as Serene Insurance. Media partner is the Business and Financial Times. So like I always remind you, if you get a copy of the Tuesday edition of the Business and Financial Times, you should read a lot about the happenings on this platform. You should also get the schedules of the vessels that are bringing your goods into this country, also featuring in the Business and Financial Times, quite a number of other media platforms, the Ghana Web, the Maritime and Transport Digest, our partners. In addition, tomorrow at 8:30 p.m., if you tune into GH1, you watch an abridged version of this program on that platform. On Wednesday at 8:30 p.m., you should watch the abridged version of the program on Ghana Television, that is GTV. Today we are talking about the overage vehicles as well as the salvage vehicles that are supposed to be banned according to the law. We're going to have, or we already have in the studio, customs who are going to assist us unpack, get the deeper understanding of whatever it is they want to communicate to the public when it comes to this subject, and what you need to do. What it is that this seeks to do is also to open up room for you to comply with the law so that you don't fall prey when the time is due for you to comply and all of that. So we will deal with this subject. Quite a number of people have spoken on this subject earlier because we started tackling it I think about 4 weeks ago. And fortunately, His Excellency, the President of our Republic, has listened to some of the issues that have also come out of it. A committee has been formed and all of that. All that we will be digesting on this platform today. We'll return shortly after the break.
Every now and again, GOIL makes good things happen. This time, GOIL has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with GOIL Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. GOIL has that sorted. GOIL, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Oh, how are you?
Hi Yvonne, a few words please. Everyone is talking about the fire at your production house last week. How are you holding up? Has production stalled?
No, not at all. My crew and everyone on my set is perfectly fine because I insure with Serene Insurance. As a matter of fact, I've had all my equipment replaced, including the vehicles that were affected. My workers have been sorted out. Even my production downtime has been covered. So it's all good. I have a meeting to attend to, so I have to get going. Sorry about that.
Which insurance company did you mention?
Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance, a member of First Sky Group.
Sa coronavirus yare no yare a sign pa. So obinya bi na se opo wagu so ana se ohwinti gu so a wutumenya yare ni bi.
Okadi ni bahani onaka oyehila ekoji. Ohebanye do. Oba wulo. Ogoba hunu. Oba chine ojamba wohe. Oba na sen kaka. Mekme musunchon. Mekme nuni enihi. Chitumoboni nke Jemo Fermo Bash Chon Okaji Neko.
Coronavirus infection, the symptoms can range from mild, one of it being asymptomatic. Asymptomatic just means that you may not have any symptoms at all, and the disease process can gradually worsen to be a severe form, the severest being ultimately death.
We are expected to sanitize our hands when our hands are not visibly soiled or you can't really see dirt on your hands. If you can see dirt on your hands, the best thing to do is to wash your hands with soap and the running water.
If you're using any of the cloth face masks, always make sure you have a rubber bag ready to receive it when you remove it, or you have a bowl of warm soapy water in which you can place the mask and wash. Wash your mask, dry in the hot sun for at least 5 hours, and apply heat by way of ironing.
Utiliser les ports de Tema et de Takoradi, c'est avoir un traitement rapide et sécurisé de vos marchandises diverses en conteneurs, en sac ou en vrac, ainsi que tous vos véhicules en transit. Le Ghana a construit un parking bien pavé pour tous les véhicules en transit. Une nouvelle gare frigorifique pour le stockage de la marchandise congelée en transit. Avec un nouveau centre de traitement de données construit et la mise en œuvre efficace d'un guichet unique national qui permet aux données d'être accessibles par tous les intervenants, le traitement des dossiers dans les ports du Ghana est maintenant efficace et plus efficient. Utiliser les ports du Ghana, c'est profiter des systèmes de portes électroniques et d'exploitation des terminaux ainsi que de la réservation des navires en ligne, entraînant ainsi un parc de camions fiable pour un acheminement de vos marchandises dans les brefs délais avec un suivi satellitaire jusqu'à nos frontières.
Les femmes, à vous les honneurs.
Les ports de Tema et de Takoradi célèbrent la femme. Que les bienfaits de cette célébration apportent plus de bénédictions.
Okay, welcome back to the program. It's Ion Porter. Today we're going to have Customs unpack the ban on the law that talks about the ban on overaged and salvage vehicles before we see the enforceable date come to fruition. So we are going to get also understanding whether this indeed is going to take off as we are seeing it, because we know that the law was assented to on the 30th of April by His Excellency the President, and 6 months after that, some part of the law ought to be enforceable. So we'll be digesting all of that, interrogating them, and see which one should we be preparing ourselves to begin to comply. My guest in the studio is Mr. Awiya Julius Kantum. He's the Assistant Commissioner, Policy and Programs, Ghana Revenue Authority, the Customs Division. Mr. Kantum, good to see you. A lot of people say they hear your name all the time, the real man behind the action, but they don't see you. Today they've managed to grab you in the studio. But the nose mask is not letting them see you clearly. Mr. Justice Yajayime is also the Supervisor Vehicle Valuation Unit at the Customs Technical Services Bureau of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Mr. Yajayime, good to have you in the studio.
Thank you, sir.
Good. So I will come to you shortly to help us understand what this law is all about. Before then, prior to today, about a month ago, we began this conversation. We had the members of the legislature. We had Deputy Minister for Transport, Honorable Titus Glover, speak with us on this matter. He's also a member of the Trade Committee, Trade Industry and Tourism Committee. We also had the chairman of that committee as well speak to us. So let's listen to what they said, and then we will come back. On Tuesday, March 3, 2020, Parliament adopted and approved the Joint Committees on Finance, Trade, Industry and Tourism report for amendments to be made in the Customs Act 2015. The new Customs Amendment Bill 2020 sought to amend the Customs Act 2015, Act 891, to provide incentives for automotive manufacturers and assemblers registered under the Ghana Automotive Manufacturing Development Program, GAMDP. The bill is also to prohibit the importation of salvaged motor vehicles comprising wrecked destroyed or physically damaged by collision, fire, water, or other occurrences, as well as specified motor vehicles over 10 years of age into the country. The Customs Amendment Bill 2020 will also increase the import duty on specific motor vehicles and provide import duty exemptions for the security agencies and officers of the security agencies, especially those who go on various assignments and peacekeeping in the security interest of Ghana. The bill was subsequently referred to the Joint Committees on Finance, Trade, Industry and Tourism for consideration and report in accordance with Article 174 of the Constitution and Orders 159 and 169 of the Standing Orders of Parliament. Speaking on Iron Port Live interactive program, the chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Trade, Industry and Tourism, Nana Mafuameni-Ampong, confirmed that the President of the Republic has assented to the bill and thus become law from 30th of April 2019.
And under the name, that is Customs Amendment Bill 2020. It's been assented, but we need to wait for 6 months before it becomes operational. So effective probably 1st October 2020. If nothing untoward happens, it may come into force.
He said it is instructive that 6 months after the bill became law, which in this case is 30th of October 2020, its enforcement will commence.
Left to me, I would have loved maybe total ban so that at least there will be a pressure on us to actually bring our arsenals into force so that production may be triple and everybody in Ghana may begin driving brand new cars. But given where we are coming from, I know it's going to be difficult, but that should be the direction.
Nana Mafuameni-Ampong, who is also the Member of Parliament for Efija-Kwabre North constituency, explained that the time has come for the nation to move away from relying on such salvage, rickety and old vehicles to protect and improve the lives of its citizens.
We cannot continue to depend on these salvage cars. And this high rate of accidents in Ghana, a lot of them, some of them, not all, but some come from that angle.
A Deputy Minister of Transport and Member of Parliament for Tema East, Daniel Nikwate Titus Glover, also a former chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Trade, Industry and Tourism, contributing on the subject of banning salvaged and overaged vehicles, said the law is in line with the overall agenda of government towards transforming the transportation sector of the nation's economy.
Major essence of the ministry, and for that matter, the vision of His Excellency the President, as to how we can promote effective public transport system. We have too much congestion in our major cities.
He said when the enforcement of the law commences, it will improve the transport sector through modernized standards.
So I believe sincerely that we could cure this problem in terms of the congestion, where we have all kinds of vehicles that are overaged that are imported into the country. And another way that we need to avoid dumping of some of these vehicles into the country. So there are times where in the past we need to fix some of these vehicles are not even there. They are not even there. And sometimes they have to improvise some parts and fix them. And this is contributing to some of the accidents we have on our road. So I think that there's a way that this law will try to cure some of these challenges we have on our roads.
He said the law will ensure safety of cars, drivers and passengers and reduce records of accidents and traffic congestion in Ghana.
Because of the commercial vehicle, it does not mean that we should allow all kinds of vehicles into our country. There should be a stop somewhere. So they'll be able to control the congestion that we have on our roads. And some of these vehicles that they come, you know that they come in a van form. And when they come, they just send it to the garage. And they do all kinds of seats. The welders do some improvised seats into it, put some metals to make sure they have seat arrangements in these wagons and all that. Obviously, that is not the time.
The Deputy Minister after the members of the legislature, also the industry players spoke on the subject. Listen. The President of the Republic on Friday, 3rd July 2020, directed that effective July 2020, all ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies, MMDAs, as well as state-owned agencies, prioritize as their first option the purchase of locally assembled vehicles they intend to procure. Members of Parliament from the Select Committee of Trade, Industry and Tourism and the Transport Ministry lauded the President on Iron Port for the bold decision. And sharing their thoughts on the President's directive on Iron Port's live interactive program, industry players also welcomed the news with a view that it will promote industrialization in Ghana. General Manager of Japan Motors Tema Branch Adobia Esiama Boaje, and also member of the Ghana Automobile Dealers Association, said their industry is excited about the directive, which demonstrates the President's commitment to encourage investment into the automobile industry.
For us, and by extension,
overage vehicle. In the meantime, the vehicle dealers, VADUC, they have some concerns on this subject. So right after all the discourse that we had on this subject, they had a press conference and said that government need to take a look at some of the things that had come up in the course of our discussions, look at the definition, the proper definition of what salvage is. So that press conference came off. Let's listen to them. Members of the Vehicle and Asset Dealers Union of Ghana, VADUC, have called on government to ensure that all industry stakeholders are protected by the new Customs Amendment Bill 2020, Act 891, due to be enforced from October 2020, which bars the importation of what the law describes as salvaged and overage vehicles to enable a healthy, competitive, and taste-varied economical automobile market.
VADUC and its affiliates want to be heard that the only action on the part of government which will let us lower our guards as industry stakeholders would be the initiation of parliamentary procedures to amend the Customs Bill 2020 Act 891.
The union members at a press conference urged Parliament to reconsider some of the clauses and in particular the definition of salvaged vehicles as defined by the Act.
According to the definition of salvaged motor vehicles, as per the current Customs Act 891/2020, Section 151 on page 5, does not guarantee the survival of our businesses as a union.
They emphasized the ambiguity in the law regarding salvaged as capable of throwing the automobile market into disarray.
The Act defines the various terms used in the newly introduced automotive assembly industry for clarity, but deliberately fails to define the various terms used in the salvage titled vehicles industry.
The members of the Vehicle and Asset Dealers Union of Ghana, VADUC, reiterated that they are not against any government policy to industrialize through the growing of automobile sector, but seeks that such policy will not be done to the detriment of them who have relied on the sector to grow the national economy all this while. So after that press conference by VADUC, His Excellency the President called all the stakeholders to meet and talk about this, and committee has been set up. We're going to be speaking to members of the VADUC shortly because they seem to be excited about what the President told them. So they've had a press release out appreciating the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. We'll find out what they've heard, for which they are excited shortly. In the meantime, I come back to the studio. Mr. Kantom is still here, the Assistant Commissioner in charge of Policy and Programs, Customs Division, GRA. Also, Mr. Yajaime is the Supervisor of Vehicle Valuation Unit, CTSB, that's the Customs Technical Services Bureau. Mr. Kantom, I'll start with you.
Yes.
What should the public know about this law? Ban on overage vehicles, starting when?
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity. Let me say that for now, there is no ban on anything. And I say that because there's a commencement date for the law to take effect. Indeed, Section 154 stipulates the provisions, and unless the minister comes out with a legislative instrument, the ban cannot come into force.
All of it or some of it?
Now, the only one that can come in for the provision, it is regarding the salvaged motors.
The salvaged motors, without the minister presenting the LI to Parliament and proposing the commencement date, the salvage motors ban will come off.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And that is because if you go to section 5, section 154, subsection 5, the prohibition against the importation of salvage motor vehicles into the country under paragraph B of subsection 1 of section 58 shall come into force 6 months after the date of the coming into force of this act.
And the date of the coming into force of this act was 30th of April.
Exactly.
Okay,
so
6 months after.
Yes.
Will be 30th of October.
That's correct.
So if the commencement, if there's any commencement at all, it should be 1st of November.
That's correct.
So for the salvage vehicles, without the minister stipulating when it should commence, enforcement should commence, the salvage vehicles are not allowed into this country by 1st of November.
That is absolutely clear according to the law.
I see.
There's no ambiguity about that.
Okay. Then the other one that is dependent on the minister's move to commence is which one? Or
now,
the other ones?
The other ones are, one, the specification of the date where chapter 87 of the first schedule of our customs tariff, and that is the heading 8703, 8704, where the duty rate is supposed to go up to 35%. That has to be on the basis of a legislative instrument.
Okay.
And again,
moved by the Minister of who? Trade or Transport?
The Minister of Finance.
Minister of Finance.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Then there's the other one that concerns overage vehicles. That is vehicles older than 10 years. That one too has to be on the basis of a legislative instrument.
I see. From the Minister of...
The Minister of Finance acting in consultation with the Minister of Trade.
Okay, so this time the two ministers have to consult.
Have to come together.
Okay.
Yes.
Before we can get a date on that.
Exactly.
At this time, have you been informed by your supervising ministry, that is the Finance Ministry, of the commencement date for these two that are dependent on the minister's approval?
I think it will become public knowledge as they lay the instrument.
Okay. As at now, it hasn't been laid?
No.
Okay. Now, let's come to the one that we are certain that it's commencing from 1st November per the law, as you have stated.
Okay.
It has no conditions attached to it because per the law, it's to commence 6 months after it was assented to. So let's take that one, the salvage vehicles. If you can read it and tell us what really is there.
So if
and
I can take it.
What do you expect from people?
Now, there's a definition section, section 151, and it says a salvage motor vehicle means a motor vehicle which has been wrecked, that is A, which has been wrecked, destroyed, or physically damaged by collision, fire, water, or any other occurrence, and does not have a clean title. So the law defines what a salvage motor vehicle is.
Wrecked, damaged, water,
by collision,
physically damaged,
yes,
water,
either
fire.
by collision, fire, water, or any other occurrence.
Okay.
And does not have a clean title.
Okay. So these 5 conditions, you are saying that it defines the meaning of the salvage clearly enough?
In my view, this is pretty clear.
You would be able to determine a car that is physically damaged at the port when it arrives easily with these conditions?
The issue here is this, that there will be, it does not have a clean title. Now, for it to have a clean title, all these things should not have happened.
Okay.
Or if they happened, it means that the damage or the repair would have been done and certified. And if it's certified, it simply means that there will be some evidence of the certification.
Okay. So it may have been damaged and all of that, but repairs have been done, but there is a certification to prove that indeed it's been certified roadworthy or repairs.
Roadworthy, exactly.
Yes. Before it can come into the country.
Before it can come in.
Let me bring Justice in at this point. And you, because of where you supervise the vehicle valuation, so you are going to determine all of these values and all of that when it comes to this. How easy will it be for you to determine a car that falls under this definition of salvage?
Okay, in the first place, the lawmakers looked at a lot of things. If you look at the definition, they didn't want to leave this to the judgment of officers or any other person.
Yeah.
That is why it has been carved out this way. So you see, it's looking at physical damage. Once there's physical damage, you don't need to go and say that, what is the extent of damage? So let me consider this, let me consider that. Once there's physical damage, it means
it's not allowed in here.
It's not allowed in.
So it's not as if that there's small dent somewhere.
There is nothing in the law that allows for personal judgment of any kind.
Interesting.
And then this looking at somebody having a clean title. Once you have it, it's evident enough to give you the way to clear your car.
But just as you know, clean title means that the car doesn't even have a dent.
Yes.
It's a whole car, fresh looking like that.
Yes.
That's what you are requiring everybody to get by 1st November?
Yes, please. If you look at the law is looking at the number of ways that vehicles get damaged. So you look at the flooding, you are looking at collision. It is so all have been covered so that doesn't leave it to anybody's judgment to say that, oh, this one can go, this one will not go. No. So that's the position of the law.
All cars that have been found to have collided before, have had been soaked in a flood before, will not be allowed here.
No.
How would you determine the car that's been flooded, that's been found in a flood before, though?
That is why the clean title aspect comes in.
Okay.
They didn't just leave it to the definition of
whether
it is physically damaged by flood, collision, or fire.
Once you obtain a clean title.
Yes, there's an aspect of a clean
title. It means
title.
that from 1st November, having a clean title will be the only way, the basis for which you can clear car out of the port.
Yes, please.
Wow. Currently, though, how do people, what do people present before they clear car out of the port? Do they present a clean title?
Currently, if they are not asked to present a title, they don't add a title to it.
And it hasn't been too needed because there was nothing like this? Okay.
So with this law, you need to have a clean title. Once you have a salvage title, no.
How do people get a clean title of their vehicles? So I'm buying a car from Canada or Australia or say New Zealand. What do I look out for when you say clean title? What should I demand?
Usually, when people buy cars, they are supposed to apply for the title. So when they apply for the title, depending on the number of days, it gets to them, and then they add it to their transport documents and ship the cars to Ghana. That is the position now. But in our case now, where we are going to have the automotive industry, the Ghana Standards Authority is playing a role where they are going to be looking at other aspects of it.
Yeah.
The certificate of conformance, they will look at it for used cars, and they are going to be looking at homologation certificate.
All of these things will be required?
Yes, please. So for new vehicles, yes, for new vehicles, they will require the importer or the owner to provide a homologation certificate.
Yeah.
But for used vehicle, he's supposed to present a certificate of conformance to be able to clear them. So they will check all these things.
Yeah. Now this is key for the public because, look, just as prior to this law, a lot of people, sometimes you know your friend in the US, he says, I'm selling a car, go for it, you pay the money and you pick it and you bring it home. So people haven't really paid attention to get a clean title and get that before you come in. You're going to have 1st November coming in, if you are not lucky, be swamped with a number of vehicles without all of these details because people haven't been used to them. Where should somebody go for a clean title if I have bought a car from the US or I'm buying it from a friend? for instance, how do I tell him that I need a clean title, and how does he get it?
Usually when they buy the vehicles, they employ the services of shippers, shipping agents, who are able to help them to go through the documentation. So these people are a main source of information for them. So once your shipper gets to know that in Ghana, this is the requirement now, he needs to do that as a matter of requirement to be able to ship the car to Ghana. So that's the position. Because at the point, it was decided that Standard Authority should find avenues to get people to get this certificate of performance as part of their vehicle document. But that has not completely been done. They are in the process as to whether they will have it done here, or they will have certain agencies outside Ghana to help us so that people don't get to Ghana and their vehicles will delay. So they are in the process of getting that done. So before the law will kick in, all those things should be done, so that people will know that according to Standards Authority, these are the accredited agencies you can deal with to get your certificate of conformance, and they will definitely require a clean title to be able to process all those things for you.
When the law is starting, the enforceability is commencing 1st November. When do you start telling people that you can't clear this car out of the port because you don't have a clean title? When would you start that? Is it 1st November?
Yes, it's a public knowledge now. The minister
1st November?
Yes, the minister even spoke about it.
Yes.
And he was questioned as to the disagreement from Bagada and all those other groups. And then he was saying they are still looking at it. So out of the outcome of the ministers' meeting with all these groups, which I'm told will be done tomorrow, I'm sure yes, it will also help a lot in moving forward. Because you cannot be doing things when there are disagreements. So I think that's the position the minister is taking, to be able to look into it and try to make sure that everybody is on the same page.
Yeah.
Then we will all move forward.
Yeah. Yes. So in understanding all of these things, per the documents that we have, the act that we are working with.
Yes.
And let me just say to people, because I've seen them sending messages, and today is going to be for all of that questioning and understanding. You can WhatsApp us. The number is 055 901 9177. It's on your screens. The number that you can call is 020 552 8353. Please try and don't miss the two. Mix the two. 020 552 8353 is the number you can call. The number you should WhatsApp is 055 901 77. I'm asking this because somebody wants to know that from 1st October, if assume that I import from 1st October, will it affect me? Will it affect me? Let me just read it verbatim. It says, if I have done shipment around 10th of October, will I get the opportunity to clear my cars if it arrives around the 15th of November? So he cleared, he ordered for it before the date. It arrives after the date. What do you make of this? Or you are telling people that from now they should not order such cars at all?
That's precisely the point. The time of importation is in customs is the time that the ship docks and reports, it makes an official report to customs that it has docked. Now, after that, after 1st November, if the ship comes after 1st November, it means it's time barred. So it means that the law will catch it, and therefore they will not, it will not be processed.
It will not be processed after that. So this one says, if clean title vehicles can be imported, then why the 35% duty rate? My question is, how many Ghanaians are able to buy brand new cars? At this point, the law is already in. Are we going to pay tax on vehicles assembled in the country? Okay, that one too is not yours. But let's take the first one, which I think belongs to you. If clean title vehicles can be imported, then why the 35% duty rate?
Okay, with the, in any activity, there are conditions. So the manufacturers, they are doing their business. And then when they come, it has to be attractive enough. So the government has looked at a lot of parameters as to how to go about it. So if you are allowed to bring in the vehicles, which they think they should be doing at this point, it's not going to help the business aspect of the industry that the government is trying to prop up.
Yeah.
So that is why some of these conditions have been put in place.
Yeah.
If you're able to meet them, if you want to still import, you pay the 35%. If not, we have alternatives here for people to buy. So that is how the government is looking at it. So the 35% was also looked at based on certain conditions. It was not just something that came out of the blue. Because if you look at the current system where we operate, the highest band for vehicles is 20%. So it's a margin of 15% which has been added to make it 35%. So that's how government didn't go. There are other places where, like Nigeria, they've gone so high.
Beyond the 35%?
Yes. Nigeria is about 70%.
I see.
And so that is
what do you also...
Let me just add that you must avert yourself to the intendment of the law.
Yeah.
The law was to provide incentives for the automotive industry.
The local one?
Yes, the local one, the assemblers and the manufacturers. Now, if the import duty remains low, how are they going to be able to compete with these? And of course, you have to give them incentives such that they can then invest, and then they would also have a return on their investment. And I think that
Indeed. So that's the intention of Parliament, protect the local automotive industry.
And the knock-on effects of this local industry is calculated to be much higher than what we are going to receive by way of revenue, keeping it at that same level.
At the moment, are you able to give us a figure of how much of such salvage vehicles we have been importing, say annually or monthly, or some of those vehicles in this category? Can you, on top of the figures that you have, be able to tell us that so far we import just about this, and so from 1st November we can get this about this amount of such cars coming?
If you look at the analysis that the Ministry of Trade did, collecting data from GRA, there are about 450,000 vehicles according to the 2017 statistics.
450,000.
About 70% of this is used vehicles.
I see.
Which is about 315,000 used vehicles. Yes. A majority of this constitute the salvage vehicles.
I see.
Because a lot of them are coming from the US, Canada, so which are mostly the salvage vehicles.
Yeah.
So that is how it was looked at.
Yeah, I see. My producer will be showing some of the salvage vehicles at the port shortly on the screen for you to see what we're talking about. So you are saying that out of about 450,000 vehicles that are imported annually into this country, about 70% of them are these salvage vehicles.
Used vehicles.
These used.
And a greater part of
greater part of you can say that about 90 or more percent of that are salvaged. So likely that we're going to lose about 65, if not about 69% of our imported cars annually. Likely, if we do the
if you do the rough mathematics, that's correct.
Okay, I assume the challenge. If you take the shipping lines, for instance, you've had them complain sometimes about the fact that when some of these cars come, even the normal UCLs, when they come and they are seized, they don't get to find those who brought them. The shipping lines don't get to see who the person to pay back the money to them and all of that. If from 1st November you start confiscating these cars, which make up a greater part of the car imports in the country, have you engaged the lines on how to ensure that they themselves, they will be alert, so that if you bring such car, you know that you are likely not to get your money from the importer who brought it?
This is a role that Ministry of Trade took up.
Okay.
To discuss with all stakeholders. They met GAPWA, they met shipping lines. So these things were discussed as to how to dispose of those seized cars. So this is what the Ministry of Trade, they've handled that aspect, which we cannot until the law takes effect, and then they can communicate to us how it will be done.
And
because the reason we raised some of these concerns, that when they are seized, what happens?
Yeah.
We still auction them, which is no.
That's
which
what I was
shouldn't be the
coming
case. So that is an issue that the Ministry of Trade knows, and it will be handled. They are not vehicles that will also be given out to people. Because there were options as to whether to levy a fine on the shipping lines. That's one, which is already in
for allowing for carrying such the carriers bringing in such a car.
And then to take it back.
Oh, okay. So the line will take it back.
Yes, because these are options which have been discussed.
But then, how would the line will be able to even determine that the car that this client is exporting is overage, accidented, flooded, or whatever? How do they do that?
In this case,
if you're going to shift this responsibility on them.
Yes. What happens is that in the dealings of customs worldwide, to be a shipping agent, you should know a customs work.
Yeah.
You should know that what a customs officer knows. So you cannot say you don't know. The law is pretty clear. If you look at it, it's talking about physical damage, which is visible. So once there is physical damage, the person presents his documents and he doesn't have a clean title, he holds a salvage title. I don't think the shipping line, the shipper himself should be able to put, no, it shouldn't be possible for him to process it.
So now you are advising that the lines themselves, or the shippers or the lines, should refuse any car that does not have the clean title, because once it gets into the country, it will not be allowed out, and you can't be paid by the importer who brought it in.
Yes. Just let me just expand on that.
Please do.
The issue is this: carriers also have responsibilities. Shipping agents have responsibility to their clients. Now, the laws that obtain in Ghana, the shipping agent ought to know. Now, when he knows or she knows, she would then advise his client, from 1st November, you cannot ship salvage vehicles to Ghana.
Into Ghana.
And then the carrier too would be seized with that information. Once you are seized with that information, it is incumbent on you not to bring the cargo. Once you bring the cargo on you, then you'll be liable. And I think that maybe the position of Minister of Trade would be to find carriers who that indulge in that kind of activity.
I see. This one says, have you had any assessment of how the implementation of this law will affect customs revenue at the port?
Minister of Trade did.
Oh, they did assessment of how it would impact
they
on
did the analysis. And
but your end yourself, haven't you done that?
No.
Yes, we would definitely do the impact analysis. As I speak, we have not yet done it. But there's something. The policy itself, the benefits that in the long term that would accrue to the economy,
entire state,
would be far greater than the revenue that we are going to earn. Just
lose in the interim.
Yes. And it's just not salvage vehicles, as you have heard the honorable members speak about, also are responsible for some of the accidents that we see on our roads. And that is, every life that is lost cannot really be quantified in monetary terms. So that is also something that we should have in mind.
Now let's talk about, you said even though it's in discussion, currently UCLs alone. So if you take Atlas Terminal, for instance, it's hosting some of the UCLs. Where else hosts the UCL, cars that go on UCL?
We have Atlas, and then sometimes you have some staying at Sailbourne.
Yes.
Okay.
And even the back of the Jubilee.
Yeah.
So you go to the back,
so
where the towards the preventive.
Yes.
You have some of the vehicles too over there.
Okay. And those spaces currently, all the places you have mentioned, which I have seen, I'm sure the gentleman will also show some on the screens, are often full as at now.
Yes.
Because as you admitted, about 70% of these cars happen to be some of these salvage ones. And I assume we start seizing them, 70% of them, the entire place will be full. How do we hold these places? How do we hold these cars up? And again, even though you said it's under discourse, can you play around some of the ideas as to what to do with such vehicles? Are we going to give people first offers that we have been doing to 60 cars that go on UCLs, for instance?
Yeah, that's an area that I don't want us to descend into speculation as to what we would do.
The measures.
Yes, the measures. But I believe firmly that the Minister of Trade and then our Second Minister, they would come up with something that is reasonable and fair.
Okay, but at the moment that's not been finalized.
But the point is, the law is saying that from 1st November, salvage motor vehicles shall not be imported into Ghana.
So we shouldn't even see them at all.
So we shouldn't see them. Now, you see, this is, excuse me to say, the practice that always happens in Ghana. It happened even when we banned used fridges.
Yes.
And then we had to postpone, and then we postponed, and we postponed several times over. I think this time round, it appears that government is firm on this.
Government is firm on implementing this.
Yes.
And so somebody wants to get it clear, the date for this. Are we looking at 1st November or 30th of October?
Midnight after 30th.
Midnight after 30th of October, so we are talking about 1st November. So from 1st November, the text from 1st November, you're not allowed to clear these goods. These cars, the salvage cars from the port, according to customs. So the questions from the Mr. Joseph Agbaga says, two questions. Point, your own man. So points on the used vehicles, custom duty level expected at same point to move to 35%. Ghana as signatory of, I'm sure, customs external tariff ECOWAS agreement will have to harmonize to a level of 20%. Yeah. The custom duties on the majority of good vehicles included from 1st January 2021. Now, clearly, the Act provision are in breach of an international engagement or arrangement. How can this be possible? So what Mr. Agbaga is saying, I'm sure if you get it, you have the CET, which is the regional one that we are all using, and that's 20%.
Yes, correct.
So you have your duty rate now 35%. How doesn't that conflict the regional?
Yes, it does.
It does.
But the issue is that there's a concession where nations are giving a certain percentage of tariff lines to adopt them to their local situations. And Ghana has not contravened anything because this is a window. You know, we did some for spare parts.
Yes.
Even vehicles, when CET came, the chapter 8703, they were supposed to be 20%. But Ghana utilized that window where we went back to look at some to be 5%, 10%, depending on the engine capacity, and then 20%. So, and we didn't exhaust that.
So we have room to go and negotiate for this certificate?
Yes, please. Okay. Which the Minister, the tax policy window, Minister of
has already taken care of it.
Yes.
Okay, so
but the other aspect is, I still think that maybe it's possible for Ghana to, as it were, argue a position and maintain the 35. At least it's not below the 20.
Yeah.
So, especially given the fact that the overriding aim of ECOWAS
is to boost trade
is to boost trade and to boost local production and commerce and manufacturing.
So if that becomes our argument, we should be able to make case for ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. In any case, if we had even exhausted the tariff lines, we could still go for 20% and 15% as a levy.
Yeah.
which is allowed.
Yeah. But
and within the protocols of the AFTA as well, there are rooms for negotiations for some of these things per the conditions of the member countries and all that. So he goes further though. So used vehicles are today one of the biggest revenue for Ghana Revenue Authority. Used vehicles straight out allow various purchasing power to find their possibility of, quote, realizing a dream, unquote, of having vehicles, and by that lots of other indirect economic activities and efficiencies are related. Why suddenly the Ghanaian should be deprived of reaching a dream, making for them impossible to do what was actually doable up to now? Same cars today pay 5%, other 10%, others 20%. By this act, all cars are going to pay 35%. GRA revenues will drop. Large parts of people will have to keep using their old cars with all the safety aspects related to it, while sadly being denied of their capability as economic actor of doing what. Okay, so it goes on and on. Mr. Agbaga, I'm sure this one day, BNFT will have to publish this as an op-ed or thesis. So good evening. On the salvage, the act introducing the definition of salvage as a motto, and okay, so we're coming to the definition proper, because I also have some issues. A motor vehicle which has been wrecked, destroyed, or physically damaged by collision, fire, water, or any other occurrences, and does not have clean title. So a vehicle accidented but with a clean title is not salvaged. Then it's not salvaged then, and has no problem at all, correct? So you get what he's trying to say. If the vehicle is accidented, but some way, somehow, you've managed to secure a clean title for it. Because you can have a situation where the vehicle is accidented, but you've put it in good shape, or however you secured a clean title over there. Then you can bring it in. Is that what you're saying?
You will not get a clean title. Because when the vehicle is involved in an accident and it's damaged, and then you put it back, you reconstruct, they say reconstruct or rebuild. Yeah. You get a rebuilt or a reconstructed title. You don't get a clean title.
And you are not even going to accept reconstructed or rebuilt titles. That is per the law.
That's per the law, yes.
So he says, okay, somebody else says that a lot of people use these, that's why I said a lot of people rely on these vehicles, and I'm sure some of you yourself, you rely on said salvage vehicles. I agree, senior. I also rely on it, but once that's the law, we're not bringing. But somebody's argument is that if we can rebuild cars within the country, so you have a used car and you rebuild it within the country you use, what's so different from the one that you bring and come and rebuild?
These ones are new vehicles which are assembled. The salvage is looking at a vehicle which has been registered and you are using, and then it's involved in an accident. So automatically it becomes a used vehicle. So you are looking at two different things, where one is a vehicle they have manufactured the parts, the kits, which we call kits, and then they come assemble, put it together to come out with a new vehicle with 0 mileage, and then a vehicle that is involved in an accident which has been put together and then repaired in a way. They are not the same thing. So there are two different things here.
Do you foresee that out of the meetings, and maybe this will be preempting the deliberations or negotiations that the meeting will be taking care of, but we are basing our arguments purely based on the law, the act as we have it right in front of us. Is it likely that some of these can be considered and managed, or probably compromise what is stipulated in the act?
No.
You don't think it would happen?
For now, as far as Ghana Revenue Customs Division is concerned, if the day comes, we'll implement it as it is. Unless from the ministers' deliberations with the other groups, they come out with a certain decision, it means that when this takes effect, they have to go amend it.
Yeah.
To take care of all those other things. Yeah. Because for now, it has not
taken effect. This is what we are going by.
You cannot amend it. So amendment can only come in when the law kicks in. Yeah. Then you can look at the other aspects.
Okay. So whatever representations people are making to you, so whatever people are saying that, oh, sometimes it may be, we can do it better, they will compromise it and all of that. For now, we have a law we are dealing with. Those representations are not going to be relied upon. There's a law in place, and so it's a law that we will rely.
People should not also forget that when you look at salvage, the salvage is looking at vehicles which have been destroyed, one. And then two, it's looking at a vehicle that is not insurable. You see, so when somebody brings a car into Ghana, the port, and clears it and salvage, he can't go to DVLA and go and insure it.
Why? No, that's why I had a problem with the definition. You see, I suspended that argument on the definition of the salvage, which is stipulated in the law, because you brought in the clean title bit, which is a very definite, description of what it should be. But beyond that one, so beyond clean title, where is it? So beyond clean title, which is B, 6. Take the A, has been wrecked, destroyed, or physically damaged. Now, those ones are difficult to define.
Yes.
What has been wrecked or destroyed or physically damaged, in your view, may not be somebody's physically damaged. So how do you determine a physically damaged vehicle?
I don't think there is any
ambiguity to that.
Because when you have the fender destroyed, it's seen. You don't even need to.
So if I have a small scratch on the fender,
there's a dent on it.
So that's
what we call dent.
That's part of your physically damaged?
That aspect of, say, if there's a scratch, we know what the scratch is and we know what the damage is. If you have a vehicle that is just scratched, where the paint, you can just use brake fluid to wipe up. That's a different thing.
Okay, so if I have
something that is damage is
if I have no, there are a few ones. If we can see, if we can see it fully, Joe and Frank and Co. If we can see that one fully, there are some that you have. Let's say one door hit.
It's damaged.
That one you won't take.
Yes, it's damaged.
But what if the thing, there's a collision, all right, but it's not bulged in, but there's a scratch that you can see that it's pushed in there. So
you need to come with a clean title. So that is why
I wish that
it's not only the physical aspect.
Yes,
there's a clean title aspect to it, so that it will not be left to somebody's judgment.
So the custom officer didn't.
Yes, it will not be left to the officer's judgment to say that because this is just small, we should allow it to go. Once you come with your clean title, you go.
Assuming without admitting
that.
Look
at this one. The front. Look at these ones.
Yes.
Now he can tell you that I'll just get a light and repair.
No,
you won't agree.
Physical damage.
This one is huge physical damage.
Yes.
But compare this one to the one that had no light. See this one like
this.
Physical damage.
This physically damaged.
This one he can get some bonnet and fix.
That's what I'm telling you. There are two aspects to salvage.
Yeah.
One, the vehicle is damaged. Two, it's not insurable. So if you are looking at the meaning of salvage on its own, these are how you look at it. One, it is damaged. Two, it's not insurable. You see?
No, but
and then because
how do I determine that the car that I am bringing is not insurable? That is what you see.
But at the end of the day,
we shouldn't assume that all of us know some of these things. There's somebody, an ordinary worker who has got some small money, wants to import his car and doesn't know all of these details. They say some car, once you bring it into Ghana,
I will explain that. These salvage vehicles, when you register the vehicle in US, it's under insurance. When it's damaged, you take it to the insurance. So it is the insurance company which then gives it out to companies to sell.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. And it comes with all these things.
Okay, so if it has been insured there.
Yes.
So it means that they have to insure the cars from origin.
But you know that in US, you can't ship a new car from US without registering it. At least you should have used it for 5,000 kilometers.
A used car?
Yes,
yeah.
Before you can ship it.
Yeah.
You can't ship it out of US. Just buy a brand new car.
No, but that's at the time you are about to ship. You are saying that as at the time you are about to ship the car from origin, it should be insured.
Yes.
That's what you're saying? That's not a
no,
requirement.
No. We are not looking at that insurance. I'm just you are asking about salvage.
No, I'm asking about how I can know it's insurable.
Because how it is insurable.
Yes. I think that let's bring some clarity to this discussion, and that is, you see, we are reading A and B together.
Yes.
But
we should separate they are
not exclusive.
Mutually.
No.
They are okay.
They are to be read together.
Okay.
It says that a salvage motor vehicle means a motor vehicle which has been wrecked, destroyed, or physically damaged by collision, fire, water, or any other occurrence, and does not have clean title.
Okay.
So it's very important that you read the two together. When you read the two together, there's no ambiguity at all.
If you add the clean title to it, that's why I said the clean title
that is a check.
Yes.
Saying that is objective.
The discretionary.
No. This one there's no discretion.
Okay, so the clean title becomes the measure. This one says, could you please emphasize on the determination of salvage cars? I'm sure by now you have gotten it. The clean title becomes the ultimate determinant of what would be. So it's the ban on salvage cars going to affect transit vehicles as well?
International law, no. Because with few exceptions, transit do not generally have restrictions. Unless you are looking at this drugs, and if this one,
but this is a very important question. I think it should have been documented. It should have been part of it.
But transit goods, according to customs procedure, transit goods are always separately manifested. Yes. So in that regard, immediately you will see a salvage vehicle, which is
transit.
It's for transit. It will be manifested separately.
Okay.
But even the situation is such that if carriers know that they cannot bring salvage by motor vehicles to Ghana, I wonder whether they would even transit such vehicles through Ghana.
I see. This one says, please, can you let the officers explain much about the right-hand drive on the new act that we have?
The act is saying that for that one hasn't changed. It has been there already.
Yes.
That when you import a right-hand driven vehicle, you need to go for permission from Ministry of Transport. It has been there. It's just restating the case. Just that in most cases, some of these things, because of the previous times people took, when the overage came some time ago and they were supposed to crash the vehicles.
Yeah.
Yes, all these things were there, but some of them were relaxed. You see, so it's been there. It's just a restatement of the previous position that you need to apply to the Ministry of Transport if you are given the go ahead before you can clear it.
Yeah.
Yes.
People have raised issues about why we even have to still bring that one and go get clarity, go get permission from disturb the minister with all these things, instead of, if we are saying that salvaged shouldn't be here, why do you bring a right-hand drive that you now have to come and take the whole dashboard off and still fix a new one? You are more or less doing that salvage. You are rebuilding and all of that. So I'm sure that one will leave it to them. This one says, good evening, please. When is the trade hub going to start working again? It's difficult getting an estimated duty for our client. Thanks, Yabua from Spintex.
We have made a request to the ICOMS team to get that done.
Okay.
Say that we can do estimates, and they've taken it on board.
Okay.
And it will be done.
Okay. I'll come back to you, but we have someone on the line that we will speak with. Hello. About the vessels information scrolling on my screen with past date. Wouldn't it be appropriate if we know the future ones that are also coming? Yes, you have the vessels that are at anchorage, those that are at the port right now, and those that are also expected to come. We just use the coming week, not way into the future, because that would be confusing. So we just use the immediate week that we are seeing. So if you're expecting a vessel that's bringing your cargo in the coming week, so from Monday all the way to say Sunday, that's the one that you will see there. We are not able to go all the way into the future. We will not be able to have time for that. That came from Stanley in Ashaiman. So we are joined on the line by Opukwajiman. He's the Opukwajiman. I would have him tell us his title, but he's from the Vehicle and Assets Dealers Union of Ghana, VADUC. They are thanking the president for listening to them and calling them to the table regarding this subject that we're talking about. Hello, Ajiman. Hello? Hello.
Hello, Sonny.
Yeah, Opoku, good evening.
Good evening. Sonny.
How are you doing, my brother?
By grace, I'm well.
Awesome. So we understand that you have met with His Excellency the President, and he has listened to you according to a release that I have, and there were some issues that have been ironed out. I'm going to just play the press release quickly and then speak to you to react to a few things. Let's listen to that quickly. Wishes to express its sincere thanks to the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for his immediate intervention after we expressed our displeasure about certain clauses in the Customs Amendment Act 2020, Act 1014, which seems to collapse our businesses. We want to put it on record that VADUC is fully satisfied with the outcome of the meeting the union executives had with the president, especially after he had assured industry players in the value chain in the importation of second-hand vehicles that the policy of developing the local automobile industry is not targeted at the destruction of their livelihoods. We also express our sincere appreciation to the Minister of Trade and Industry, Mr. Alan Chomanting, for his enormous contribution in several engagements with the union on the same subject matter, and we hope all discussions will be fruitful for the sustainability of our business as a union. Nonetheless, we also apologize if in the course of deliberations utterances were made against any government official. We are sure to support the government to boost the investment climate of the country and want to reiterate that VADUC is not against the implementation of Ghana Automotive Manufacturing Development Program. It is our hope that the President's directives will be prosecuted immediately to address all concerns. Long live VADUC, long live Ghana. Signed, Bernardine Trakwa, Chairman, VADUC. Okay, Opoku, so your chairman signed that, and you are the General Secretary of VADUC. Tell us, what assurance have you gotten from the President that leaves you with this satisfaction?
Please, can you come again? The line is a bit strange.
I'm asking, what assurance did you get from the President of the Republic that leaves you with this satisfaction?
Oh, okay. Well, after meeting up with the President, we had this assurance that at least as the current law stands, as the gentleman in your studio have elaborately explained, it seems that with the current law, it means that we'll be out of business, as well as our value chain employees. And so what the President, His Excellency, did on that day or said to us, which at least we can say we have a bit of hope, is that he said there was no way he was going to put us as a value chain out of business. And then he went ahead and instructed that there be a formation of a committee on which the intention and the Ministry of Trade and Industry as well, together with a representative from the Flagstaff House, the person of the Deputy Chief of Staff, Honorable Abu Inoko.
Yeah. Okay.
So we should be starting sitting on Monday.
You start sitting on Monday, that's tomorrow. Hello, Opoku?
Yes.
You say you start sitting on Monday?
Yes, which will have its maiden sitting on Monday.
Okay. Okay. We'll leave you and then wish you well. We'll definitely be following keenly to get updates from you, and hope that you definitely come to an agreement that you will all be happy about, just the way you have stipulated in your press release.
Thank you very much, my brother. And have a good evening.
Good. So that's the VADOC. On this same subject, they had issues with the definitions as we've talked about and all of that. And also the fact that if we strictly comply with this law, they think they will get out of business. They sell these cars at the garages. This one says, good evening. I want to know what happens to confiscated cars when the ban takes effect. What happens to it? Confiscated vehicles.
It depends on the reason for confiscation. If it's for...
Would you still be confiscating? I mean, I'm sure they're trying to say that would you still be confiscating vehicles?
Salvage motor vehicles.
Yes, after this happens.
No,
after the law takes effect.
But we don't anticipate that salvage motor vehicles will be imported for us to run some time and then we will confiscate them. I don't quite understand the logic behind the question.
Okay, well, I'm sure he's trying to say, aside confiscating some of these vehicles, that the salvage vehicles that are coming. So if my vehicle still goes on UCLs, even though it's not under this category, it's salvaged.
That's right.
Would it still?
So if it's not salvaged, and then it stays over the 60 days, and then
if they infringe on the law, they will still be punished. You still confiscate.
Obviously, this law does not mean that other laws will not be operating again.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. So hello, good evening. What about big trucks and buses? Example, Kia Rio, Reno, Hyundai, Mighty Hyundai County buses. So big buses.
No, if you look at the law.
The law is about
it is vehicles. Looking at vehicles under 8703, which we define as small cars, motor cars, saloons, lift back, estate, station wagons. So these are category of vehicles looking at.
Yeah.
And then when you come to the big trucks, and they are not affected.
Okay.
The only one which is affected, which is classifiable under the 8704, which is trucks, is a pickup, which is affected. With the exception of a pickup, the rest, the big trucks and the 8701, the agents will understand when I mentioned the HS code. 8701, they are not affected, which are the truck heads.
Yeah.
That later what we call the hat heads.
The heads.
They are not affected.
Okay.
If you come to the 8702, we have the buses, coaches, and vans. They are not affected.
Okay.
And then if you come to 8703, that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
That is where because there are vehicles they are going to manufacture here. And the government, when this decision was being taken, they look at people's conditions. So you don't ask people not to bring what you are not producing.
Yeah.
So it is what they are going to produce here.
The sedans.
Yes, that is what is going to be affected.
Okay.
So that's how the position of the law.
Okay. So
in customs, what we 8703, what we say is that these are motor vehicles designed principally for the transport of persons.
10 or more.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So these are for the
buses.
The buses. Those for commercial vehicles.
Yes.
So good evening. Good evening. How can government give the companies 10 years tax incentive and still say because people bring salvage cars, it will affect the automobile industry? Ask them that even America deals in salvage vehicles, so that would not be for my custom officers here. SME cars have clean titles, that is run and drive, but a small fender damage. Can this be cleared?
The issue is that in the law, it's specific. Unless, of course, there's a variation from any quarters which amends the law in a way.
Yeah.
We cannot say that if somebody brings another certificate different from what the law states, will accept
you will accept it.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, sir. My question is, if I shipped my salvage car before 1st November and it arrives, let's say December, will I be allowed to clear my salvage car? This is Daniel from Dansuman. Daniel, I think we said this earlier, Mr. Kantum. He says if he purchases it, he ships it before 1st November and it arrives somewhere around December, will you allow him to clear it?
No, we won't.
So from 1st November, they will not allow any of such cars to come out of the port,
So the last cars should arrive on the 30th of October.
Okay. I am Kwame. I want to know, should your ship arrive on 31st October, waiting to be clear?
There's no 31st. There's no 31st.
There's no 31st. There's 30th of October. Will I be allowed to clear? So assume it's 30th of October, he means. Okay. So from the midnight of 30th of October, we've ended. The law has taken effect. From 1st November, you will not be allowed to clear this, and that's why you should take critical note of this.
I think we can say something here. The issue is that this policy has been often for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, the government, they've made a number of public education on it. They've put out information there, and everybody knows that this is what is coming in. When it was assented to, I think it was published by newspapers, so we all knew that at a certain point it will take effect. So I don't think we have to try to play around what is already in place for us. So we should all try to just abide by what is there. And
it's because you are now going to enforce it. So you need to, as far as the communication bit is concerned, you need to now have to get people in tune with it. Somebody who probably at the time started hearing you may not have had the plan to buy any car. When you now have the plan and dream to buy the car, that is when you start getting yourself, hey, truly the thing is coming to my home. So you may have fresh people who now want to purchase cars and are interested in knowing all these details. Again, we say that 1st November is just less than 3 months away, which means that if people are buying cars from now,
they're still within time.
They still have time. So from tomorrow, if you are buying any car, you just ensure that it's not a salvage car.
The shipment is early.
Yes, I mean, if you buy a car today and then we expect maybe a month's time it should be here, you are still within time. So you can buy your last salvage car.
Your last salvage
as
car.
As it were.
Okay, so it's not all accident cars that don't have a clean title. It depends on the nature of accident, and if it was reported to insurance for claim, you can have some damaged cars with clean title. Secondly, you don't apply for the title in Canada, for example. The title is the car ownership that is transferred to you upon purchase. You agree to this point? Okay. It means that all
in the
questioner
apply.
Says that the damaged vehicle and then it has clean title.
Yeah, that is what he's implying.
But you see, again, we are reading the thing. There are two.
There are two. Okay.
So you always avert your mind to the fact that
damaged.
He has been wrecked, destroyed, or physically damaged, and does not have clean title. If it has clean title, and then it's
damaged, you won't accept it.
You won't still accept it.
Interesting.
It must have two.
Okay, so we can't rely on only the B, which is the clean title.
Yes. No, you can't.
We should also avert to the A, which is the wrecked, destroyed, physically damaged, and all of that.
Exactly.
I see. How about a vehicle that had physical damage whilst discharging from the ship to the car park within the port in Ghana?
That will be recorded.
The condition report from
the condition report.
Okay. Okay. So in that case, you should also have a clean title, and you should.
Of course.
You should also have your condition report from origin. This is not good. Okay. Somebody says this is just too much. I report, well done. God bless you for all these understanding. Okay. So does motorbike fall under the overage vehicles? You said vehicles, so motorbike obviously.
Motorbikes don't attract overage.
No. He says because it has chassis also.
No, but you see, when you are talking about vehicle, it's different from motor vehicle.
Okay.
It's
different from motor vehicle.
A vehicle is mechanically propelled.
Okay.
That's a motor vehicle. It has an engine.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's mechanically propelled.
Okay.
And see, and then it is a one that is for carriage of persons or goods.
Yeah.
Yes.
By road.
But the motorbike.
You understand?
Okay. Well, we don't allow for the carriage of persons.
So that the difference. Mechanic propelled and then it is employed for the carriage of persons
but
or goods.
The motorbikes are also employed for carriage
and
of persons
it excludes those ones. Cycles, if you look at the law, it excludes cycles, side cars, motorcycles.
Okay.
Yes, in the law, it's not, it doesn't just end at carriage of persons.
The tuk-tuk, that car, the 3-in-1, the tuk-tuk,
yes,
it's exempted.
So
tuk-tuk fans are happy.
So if you look at the law, it doesn't just end there. For employed to carry people by road and goods by road, but it also states those exceptions where it doesn't include sidecars, motorcycles, and cycles.
Okay, let me say Bismarck is on the line, so let me start picking the calls now. Bismarck, good evening.
Good evening, Sergeant.
Okay.
Good evening to your panelists.
Good evening.
Can you need to ask them, you see, as of now, we are not in normal times. I'm doing shipments from Canada. And as of now, Canada is still on lockdown. The place is not totally open. So Canada will be free around September. My shipment will start around September. That's why we're asking for that people that did shipment before maybe 10, that's 20 days, because it's in Canada, it should be taking like 1 month, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
1 month, 2 weeks. That's why we're asking whether if we do the shipment after before, we should do some consideration for some of us, because we are not in normal time. The system is not in normal time. The two of you in the studio now, they are all wearing masks. Issues we are not in normal time. So if we can consider taxing for us, we'll be very, very good.
Okay, that's if it's in their power to consider. So if shipment was done a little late because of the corona issues and all of that. That's what you deal with.
Yes, you don't deal with it.
Hi, have they also done the impact assessment on the dealers and the garages who deal in these cars? Earlier they talked about the Ministry of Trade doing the assessment. And with the overage cars, can they clarify which ones will be affected? Saloons, buses, trucks, tippers, vans, etc. He's Eric from Takrady.
I'm emphasizing it. Articulator heads and the 8701, they are not affected. If you come to all the cars and the 8702,
not affected.
Vans, buses, coaches, they are not affected. If you come to 8704, vehicles for carrying goods, the only one that is affected is the pickup. The rest are not affected.
Okay.
So all the cargo trucks, trailers, whatever, they are not affected.
Okay.
And then when you come to 8703, that is where the vehicle manufacturers are going to concentrate now. So for those ones, they are affected. So you have the sedans, that's saloon, estate, left back, station wagons, they are affected.
Okay.
Now the point also here is that this it's not a zero-sum game.
Okay.
I mean, this law comes into effect. It has got its objectives, and government is aware of those. Now, the point is, there's always a balancing act that government has to do. It has to cater for its citizens in various ways. I'm not a government official, I'm just explaining. But in this particular context, we are talking about all others that you can still engage in legitimate trade of importing used cars, except that they will not be salvage cars. So it is not like used cars cannot be imported.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Just
I don't
the salvage
believe
ones
it's
that
just
are
the
not
salvage
allowed
ones.
by
And
used
you
cars.
understand the reasons that were alluded to by the honorable ministers and then the honorable parliamentarians. And those are quite cogent, and we all know. So that is the point that we are making.
Okay.
So this is not a zero-sum game where the coming into being of this law means that their livelihoods are going to be taken away from them. It is not.
Batiano from Burkina Shepherds Council in Ghana says he wants to know why the valuation on the vehicles is taking much time in the new ICOM system. I'm sure that will be to you, Justice. He wants an answer. You are smiling.
I don't think that.
We should move away from ICOMs more. But if
I don't think that initially we had issues. Nobody denied that.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have challenges.
No, I don't want to go there.
Okay.
You see,
let's leave.
Initially, we had issues with the valuation of the vehicles, which everybody knew there was a backlog. But for now, there's an officer who has been asked in Tema to concentrate on only transit vehicles. And I deal with him, so I know. So for him saying that he's delaying, I don't know how he should be delaying.
Okay.
Yes.
There's a gentleman who
so
also
if
says,
he has issues, maybe he may have to just come and then we'll deal with it. Because I don't think there's any delay. Because there's an officer who does that. And he does solely that. The transit vehicle valuation.
Okay.
Yes.
There's another gentleman, he sent a mail right now too, that says that his car was cleared in the old GCNet system, and he has been told that there's a discrepancy, there's some infractions or something. So till today, weeks after, they are saying, you are saying, or your men are saying that they question the genuineness of the car, and so it's been investigated. Till now, he still hasn't gotten the car. What could somebody like that do at this point in time?
With the migration from GCNet to the new system, ICOMS, they were given new CPCs to apply to be able to migrate successfully. So I don't know why it is like that. If he still has issues, then he has to go to the ICOMS team is at Ni Hotel in Tema. He should go and talk it over with them, and then they'll try to resolve
Who
it.
in particular can you assist? Because it sounds desperate. There's a lot of
Smile
messages.
is there. Can go and see Smile and then talk to him. Or Mr. Ohini, he is the project coordinator, and then you can.
Okay, so hello. I would like to know if the increment in duty applies to commercial passenger vans.
No.
No.
Okay. So we have a caller on the line, Evans from Wager. Hello, Evans. Sorry, I've kept Evans on the line for too long. Hello, Evans.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Mine is not a contribution, but what I want to say is they should really think about this whole issue. Yeah, hello.
We can hear you, sir.
Yeah, they should really think about this whole issue, because it's not only going to affect the car dealers, but one, those of us selling at Abosokai, those workers working on cars, those players, it's going to affect a lot. It's going to affect a lot. So they shouldn't just think about those bringing cars.
Okay. Okay.
I'm a self-president at Abosokai. It's these people who bring cars, it's them who buy from us most.
Okay.
So if they stop them from bringing the cars, how are we going to sell?
Okay.
It's the same way to the sprayer, the body worker.
Okay. The point is well made.
They shouldn't just be passing laws for the sake of somebody coming to build a brand new car.
Okay.
How many of us can afford a brand new car?
Thank you. So that should be it. We can pick the next caller, but this one says, good evening. Banning of accident cars will collapse some of our businesses. This is what we do to live. I don't think it helped at all. And about 60% of us Ghanaians cannot afford the brand new cars. You wanted to say something to this?
Yes, the issue of people's businesses collapsing. I think the Ministry of Trade, the meetings, they've had meetings with Abuso Okai and other groups. Which
and the last time the spare parts dealers chairman was here.
Yes, so. And then they tried to tell them that apart from the spare parts you deal in, you can still be part of this program.
Yeah.
Because there's a component manufacturing aspect of it. People who want to deal in component parts of the vehicle. Because when from one stage, like Katanka, they are starting from enhanced SKD.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of components that will have to be produced locally.
Okay.
So they should go to Ministry of Trade and also find out what opportunities they can take advantage of.
Or even talk to the association, spare parts dealers and all of that, because they have been fully engaged.
Yes.
Boateng Clement, the president, also the vice chair of Guta was here, and he reiterated that your jobs are not as threatened as you may be thinking. So it sounds like there's some opportunity you may be able to take advantage of. Again, the president also reiterated that you heard from the Vaduk to the unions and the associations that there's hope, and it's not as if your jobs are going to be taken away. So begin to start getting yourself closer to the system. You may find yourself somewhere that will improve what you're already doing. Seriously, GRA must relook at this decision. Loss of revenue speculation alone isn't enough to enforce this law, but let's ask ourselves how many people can buy or afford a clean car is a question. And this is before I go to Emmanuel from Tema. Good evening. Great conversation. I am really enjoying this program. Quick one, sir, please, can I know when recruitment into customs will commence? The gentlemen in the uniform, I admire them so much. Okay, so that goes to them. Please, I want to know that if everything is fine and I want, okay, and only my light is broken, because a car I'm expecting has only the light broken. Small light to, will you let it pass or you? Let's talk to Emmanuel from Tema. Hello, Emmanuel.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Please ask the officers over there that I declared an allocation car.
Mm-hmm.
And I declared an allocation car since last week Friday, up to date. It's an approval state. It hasn't been approved yet. So
Okay.
I said what the problem is.
Okay, noted. So they will respond to you. I am Medi. I would like to know if a car gets accident in Ghana, is it repairable, since salvage cars are going to be banned? The one that is being imported through is the one they are talking about. I am Mr. Boatin Sadat from East Legon. Hello, good evening. What about big trucks? Okay, so that has been answered earlier when another texter sent that. Good evening. Please, I want to know, when is this ban starting? Is it from 1st November or October? The gentlemen in the studio have emphasized that it starts from 1st November or midnight of 30th of October, according to what the law is trying to stipulate. Thanks for the explanation. I would like to ask, can a company that assembles cars in Ghana import salvage cars?
No.
No, obviously not.
It's not kit.
It's not kit. They can only import kits.
Okay, it's not part of the kit.
Yes.
No.
So because in this thing there are full. There are some kits. There are some classifications that
Yes.
Allows you to. So those
Even
of you
the
calling the
processing
WhatsApp
level is there.
Okay.
Either you start at SKD, that's a semi knockdown, or enhanced semi knockdown, or you start at completely knockdown.
Yeah.
So there are stages with their incentives.
Okay.
So each stage has its own package. So depending on where the manufacturer begins from, a certain incentive goes with it.
Okay.
And then from SKD, a little local content. When you move to enhance, there's more local content. Then CKD, there's so much local content.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so the number that you can call is 020-552-8353. Please do not call the WhatsApp line. The WhatsApp line is 055-901-9177.
And then the one who spoke about the allocation car that he declared, and then he's put in a declaration, but he's not got any approval.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to go to auction unit for approval.
Okay.
So it means that the slip should have been endorsed by the
Okay.
officer in charge before scanning into the system. So he needs to go to the office, and then when they sort it out, they'll put a remark in the system.
Okay.
After doing it, they'll put a remark there, and that will enable the approval officer to approve it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to pick probably our last caller. But this one says, good evening, I am Hamida too. What about those salvage cars already in the port and going on UCL? Are they going to auction them as cars or given to scrap dealers? Okay. No need. They will reserve and talk about. That would be a top management decision indeed. So are they saying once the damaged car gets to the port, that is Ghana, before 30th of October 2020, you can clear even in November 2020? If it arrives before the 1st of November, can you clear after the 1st of November?
No.
It arrived earlier.
No, I think that That is possible.
That's possible. Once
Yes.
it has arrived
Yes,
before the...
yeah.
Okay. So per what they are saying, the fact is that it is very difficult to get a clean title. So the law need to be looked either than that our livelihoods will be taken from us. Somebody still feel, and I think he's a member of the Vaduk because I've seen, they feel that the thing is still not clear. He says, from what you are saying, the fact is that it is very difficult to get a clean title. And so the law need to be looked either than that they will be out of business. Is it that difficult to get a clean title?
No,
Yeah, that's precisely the point.
Somebody said that in Canada, the certificate is transferable from the original owner to whoever is buying the vehicle. So if you are buying it from somebody, it means that you can get a clean title from the person. You don't need to apply. But in US, when it's being auctioned by the insurance companies, after purchase, you apply, you get a certificate with it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's salvage, you won't get it.
Okay.
You won't get a clean title. They will definitely give you a salvage title.
A salvage title?
Yes. Once
there's
it's
a
salvage,
so
you can't get a clean title for a salvage vehicle.
Good evening. Please ask Mr. Justice, when does a call falls under brand new? A car falls under brand new. Is it after the 6th month of the year or from the year of manufacturing, even if it was manufactured in May and we are in July? Fuseni from Eaglet Shipping.
Okay. The issue is that a new vehicle, we all know a new vehicle, a vehicle which has not been used.
Yes.
It's a basic definition. It doesn't depend on whether it arrives on the 1st July of a year or no. No. If it's not, it should be registered and used.
Okay.
So that is a used vehicle.
Yes.
But without that, it's a new vehicle.
Please, I want to inquire about the right-hand drives vehicle from Japan. It's the process going to be normal as before applying to the commissioner before clearing. You might ship your vehicles in July and your vessels might delay to October. They should consider shipment date instead of arrival date. Will you consider that, Ruby from Tema?
No.
So it's the arrival you are basing on. I listened to Mr. Alan last week, Friday, on Asempa FM, and what he said was totally different from what they are discussing. Alan said, the minister, I'm sure he's saying, he said there is no date for the ban and government has not said he will ban the salvage vehicles. Now the law is right in front of us. It's not an individual statement. The law says that for salvaged, it's supposed to take effect from October 30th or 6 months after the ascension of the act. And for overage vehicles, that is when the ministers will have to discuss.
And it was the same thing the minister said.
It's the same thing.
I think he even said that he went ahead to say that it's a human institution. Some of these things can be looked at again. Yes. He didn't say that.
It's not taking effect. I know.
He didn't say that.
Someone should kindly advise Ghana government to allow only. Okay, so let me pick a caller who has been on for a while. I thought we were picking last, but this gentleman, Alhaji from East Legon, has been on for a while. Hello, Alhaji.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, I would like to make a contribution to the program.
Please go ahead, sir.
I'm an importer. And sometimes when we do import and then we pay duties for to clear, sometimes some of the chassis numbers get missing when maybe the custom officer themselves, when they are typing the chassis numbers on the papers for the duty to be processed. Sometimes we do pay the duty and then they will allow us to clear. That is clearing after post-entry. After doing the post-entry, after clearing, you have to go for another paper to clear the original chassis numbers that are on the bill of lading. When you go there, they will tell you now they don't have access to do that for you now. And as I'm speaking to you, Justice himself is aware of what I'm telling you now.
Okay.
Because I've gone to the office last week and it's been almost 11 days now. I have 2 trucks in the port. I cannot clear because they make typing mistake on their document to clear, but they will allow you to clear. When you clear, there's something called post entry. You have to do post entry on it to get it cleared. And after 2 weeks now, it cannot be done.
Okay.
So
thank you. I think that's clear.
I can explain. The issue is that, you see, when they go and do the manifest matching, after paying, they do the manifest matching. That is when the system will have to compare what has been declared as against what is on the manifest to check whether the proper declaration has been made. And if it doesn't match, the system will reject it for correction. And then when the system rejects, what most of the agents don't know is that they will have to send, apart from the system signing it, they will now have to, they themselves request for post entry. But they don't do it. So when they get to the officer, you cannot even see the DOE because that's a bill of entry. You cannot even see because the agent has not requested, even though the system has rejected it. You cannot get access to work on it until he requests for it. But most time, because they get a message that there's a post entry on it, they quickly run to the officer for him to work on it. So the advice I'm giving them is that when the system rejects for a post entry, they will have to enter there themselves. The declarant will have to.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think
process it for post entry before the officer can get access to it.
That's point well made. I, as much as possible, don't want us to get into the technical systems because we have this topic to deal with. Another time when we have to deal with the system processings, we will deal with that one. Ohima from Temase, good evening. I on port. Great discussion with vehicles that get damaged in the course of transit that's en route and as a result has a clean title be affected by the law.
Yes, as I said, transit, they are destined for another country. So with few exceptions, you can't say because you have a law here which regulates what happens in Ghana, you stop transit vehicles to from going.
Now,
because for now, when we are even doing assessment for transit vehicles, we don't add overage penalty. You understand?
Overage doesn't affect.
Yes, because it's within Ghana. And they are not
it's our laws, not their laws.
So when they are manifested separately on a manifest as a transit vehicles, there are some of the laws, with the exception of maybe even cocaine or some. Those are ones.
Okay, so I'm going to pick international news. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up quickly because at 8 p.m. we should be tuning in to listen to the President of the Republic. International port and maritime news are next. The Philippine Coast Guard has informed that the Ruru passenger ship MV Filipinas Dinagat caught fire 5.5 nautical miles off Benonkalan Point in the evening hours of July 23. At the time of the incident, the 1,173 GT ship left Cebu and was en route to Palomton Lade. When the Philippine Coast Guard arrived at the scene, the Philippine-registered RoPax owned by Coca-Lion Shipping Lines was already fully engulfed in fire. The crew members were immediately transferred to a motor bunker that transported them to the nearest port for further assistance. Medical assistance was provided to 41 of 45 crew who safely arrived at Danao port. The ship owner confirmed that all the rescued crew members were safe and accounted for, declaring a zero casualty incident. Shipbuilder Hyundai Maple Dockyard HMD, part of Korea Shipbuilding and Offshore Engineering Company, has received orders for the construction of 4 petrochemical carriers. On July 21, HMD said it inked an equivalent of $72.6 million deal with an undisclosed Asian ship owner for 2 petrochemical tankers. The contract also includes 2 options. HMD reported in a stock exchange filing that the ships are expected to be delivered by 30th September 2021. UNAP News Agency reports that the 50,000-ton ships will feature a length of 183 meters and a width of 32.2 meters. The construction is expected to start in November 2020. HMD further announced on Monday, 20th July, a contract worth an equivalent of $71.9 million for 2 petrochemical product tankers. Boston-based C Machines Robotics, a developer of autonomous systems for ocean-going vessels and workboats, has closed a new $15 million financing round with significant participation by Huntington Ingalls Industries, HII, America's largest military shipbuilding company and the provider of professional services. This investment in C Machines marks one of the largest venture rounds for an advanced technology company serving the marine and maritime industries. The strategic investment and associated partnership with HII will accelerate the deployment of self-piloting technologies in the rising market of unmanned naval boats and ships, and is a continuation of HII's expansion in the rapidly growing autonomous and unmanned maritime systems industry. Minerva Gas, the Greek LNG carrier owner and operator, has launched its newly built vessel at Samsung Heavy Industries in South Korea. The vessel, Minerva Kalymnos, is capable of transporting 174,000 cubic meters of liquefied natural gas. The company noted in its statement, SHI performed the launching on July 18, 2020. Minerva Kalymnos features a GTT's Mark III Flex Plus containment system. It also features a two-stroke XDF propulsion, according to the company. Minerva Gas said it is the first of a series of 3 sister vessels the company is currently building at SHI. Finnish port automation solutions provider Kalmar, part of Cargotec, has won a contract to supply 2 zero-emission rubber-tied gantry cranes to Safi Derin's International Port in Turkey. Safi Derin's International Port is located in the Marmara region to the north of the Gulf of Izmit. The order, which also includes Kalmar Smart Port Solutions that are part of the Kalmar One automation system, was booked in Cargotec's 2020 Q3 order intake, with delivery scheduled for Q3 of 2021. The Kalmar Zero Emission RTG features a 100% electric power system that produces no emissions or engine noise at source and completely eliminates the need for hydraulic oil. Okay, so the discussion was going on because even though we are summarizing now, this one, Ohima says, what she meant was that the vehicle is destined for Ghana, but whilst en route, maybe it may have gone to, say, Senegal or Freetown or somewhere before coming to Ghana, and that's where the dent or the damage happens. What does the person do?
Yes. This will be a matter of evidence. Now, the owner of the vehicle would have to deal with the carrier.
Okay.
And then the carrier would have to come up with an explanation as to why
or when the damage occurred.
Okay.
On the basis of that determination, then customs will be advised, and then we will take the appropriate action.
Finally, what should people look out for?
The key takeaways are, one, that on November 1st, the prohibition regarding salvage vehicles would come into effect. Two, the minister would come up with a LI to say when that 35% on motor vehicles would take effect.
And then
also the overage, that is 10 years and above, when that will also take effect. Okay. So that is going to be done by legislative instrument. Now, anybody who intends to import should be reminded that if the cargo arrives before the 1st November, then he's within time. But if it's after that, then it means time bad.
Okay.
Now, don't assume that things are going to change. Work on the basis that the law is going to stand.
Yeah.
And then you will not fall foul of the law.
Thank you very much. I will end it there because, like I said, we're going to link to the president. He'll be speaking shortly. My guests in the studio have been Mr. Julius Kantum, the Assistant Commissioner in charge of policy and programs, Ghana Revenue Authority Customs Division. Mr. Justice Yajayime is also Supervisor, Vehicle Valuation Unit, the Customs Technical Services Bureau, Ghana Revenue Authority, the Customs Division. Thank you for watching. The next time it will be a policy man in the studio to answer the policy angles of all the questions you have. Stay tuned to the president.